Hello, it has been way too long. What has happened? I was supposed to be doing this right after or when I was in South Carolina. What the hell happened? I'll explain everything, guys. This is Podcast Fat Boy. Let's start the show.
Who's a fat boy?
Podcast Fat Boy.
And we're back, episode 43. This is a little embarrassing, everybody. I wanted to, if you, my avid listeners of the show in the last episode, you know that I said I was all jacked up. You know I love to take this show on the road. I was going to record in South Carolina. I was going to maybe have some of my house guests on at the Airbnb. We were going to have a good chat about health in the South, what we experienced with the food and the culture. But guess what? It got too friggin' busy. The goddamn Game of Thrones series finale was on the Sunday, so we had to figure out a way to stream that fucking thing. And before we knew it, we were back in Georgia on the the plane to get home. So what I did is I came home, I recorded an episode like I do in the Charlie Bucket studio. That's where I am right now. But you know what? I couldn't get it out. I couldn't get it on the air. I couldn't get it to you folks. So here I am, almost 2 months later, and I'm redoing episode 43. Now look, I can't remember a ton about the trip. I remember some of the highlights. I'm going to talk about some things with South Carolina, especially in America in general. For instance, America has an annual health report that I found, and it's pretty thorough, I would say. It goes by every state, and it pretty much ranks every state for who's the healthiest and who's the shittiest. And there's quite a pattern in the South for being not as healthy as the rest of the country. I wonder why that is. You would think that them being Republican states, that they would maybe get a little more funding, but that is not true. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of cases of people smoking, doing drugs, chlamydia. Though, the greatest thing about South Carolina is they have a very low prevalence for whooping cough. I think that's about the proudest thing. They're 13th overall for, the least amount of whooping cough. That's, I don't know, kind of sounds like an archaic thing to get. I don't think a lot of people are worried about whooping cough as much. But, chlamydia, on the other hand, not so great, right? You screw around there and you don't protect yourself, there's a good chance you're going to get chlamydia. The thing that the worst at is salmonella. So when I was there in South Carolina, I was very worried. I knew that they were bad. I think they're like 48th overall for, being the worst. 48th out of 50, almost the worst. Pretty much Louisiana is the worst for everything. That place is really struggling. But anyway, in South Carolina, I had it in my mind. Our first night there, we went out and got some meal. Felt like I ordered. When you're on vacation and you want to treat yourself, you want to get that gross, gorgonzola dipped beef or whatever the hell it was. And, right after, I'd say a couple hours after I ate it, I was running past a cemetery back to the Airbnb. I thought my ass was going to explode. It was very scary. I don't know if it was just the heat mixed in with the, long travel day, getting up early, etc. I don't know. But I for a moment there, before the wedding on the Saturday, I was pretty worried that I was going to have to go to the hospital and use my travel insurance. There's one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to get a huge hospital bill, and I don't want to get framed for murder in America, especially in a state like South Carolina, where there's still the fucking death penalty. I don't want to go to a convenience store in South Carolina. This was a fear that I had in my head. This is, it doesn't make any sense. but I was worried that maybe I would walk in on a murder that just taken place, slip in the blood. I'd fall into one of the bodies. My teeth would make a dent mark in the ankle. And guess what? Yeah, I think that's all they would need. I'd be on death row in South Carolina awaiting the drip. If I have a choice, I'd prefer something else because I hear it's horrible. Did some research on that. Apparently, it's just don't get the drip anymore. If you have a choice, firing squad or get electrocuted, anything but that. Get hung. Just I don't know how many people on death row listen to this podcast, but if you do, just maybe think it over. Talk it over with your lawyer. But no, it was a beautiful time. We had the weather was gorgeous and the people were nice and the food was okay. We had some good seafood on the last day and that didn't seem to bother me at all. I'm a real sensitive Sebastian down there these days in my old age, in my 30s. But another thing that I've been busy with too is the last episode we talked a lot about how I'm going to fix the shark fin trade. How am I going to get rid of that? And yes, I paid for a 3D printer and I am 3D printing those shark fins. I'm getting a lot of orders in from Hong Kong. Tons, because that's where 90% of shark fins go. 100 million sharks are killed everywhere, just every year, and 90% of those go to Hong Kong. Just a heads up. So yes, I am. Unfortunately, people are going to start ingesting plastic, but really, what's the difference between shark cartilage? Right? There's nothing in that. We got to put the plastic somewhere. I'm making it out of old shopping bags. I'm melting them down, putting them in the 3D printer. So we're getting rid of the bags. I'm probably going to win a Nobel Prize. Okay? And if you do want the order, and my email. Okay? And yes, I can do pretty much any shark. I will say that the most popular one right now is the bull shark. I don't know why. Not too big, not too small, just the size of Montreal. Maybe that's what that's what is that what people say when they order shark fin soup? What kind of fin would you like? Not too big, not too small, just the size of Montreal. That's a pretty decent sized shark fin. We're talking great white, but bull shark, pretty popular for me right now. And obviously people are going with a veiny white color because you want it to be, the same as you'd want when you're buying a dildo. Okay, you want it as real as goddamn possible. Okay, if you're getting a rubbery, fleshy friend. So thank you for your orders. It's just a one-man show here. It's very expensive to make these shark fins. So I will, it's going to take some time to get to you. I am in talks with AliExpress to maybe get a bit of a discount where, I can ship out from there and save you some money to the people of Hong Kong. And, there's lots of people in Canada as well. Actually, funny that I'm talking about the shark fin thing again. I don't know where, but, it just was in the Toronto Star today that a guy from Vancouver was talking about the family strife, the struggle in his family about people who eat shark fin and who don't, and how, people, they look down on him because he's against it, because I understand that they think it's a delicacy and it, is good for your health. And there's a lot of superstition to it, but at the end of the day, it's killing the planet. We're running out of time. So there's a bunch of things that we got to tackle. You know how I feel about nuclear power. I'm going to stay off that one today. I'm not going to, I think I freak people out when I talk about that a little too much. But the shark fin stuff has got to stop. Canada just made it illegal. Finning is illegal. That's fantastic news. We got to stop killing the sharks. We got to respect the sharks. Top of the food chain. They're very important to the health of the ocean and the world. Moving on. What have I been doing when I haven't been doing podcasts, Fat Boy? I have the Confederacy of Dunks basketball podcast that I produce. Okay? And I've been doing that every week. It has been since the last time we recorded was at the beginning of May. We were probably in the second round. They won the championship. It's been insane. We've, go to dunkspodcast.com. We're on iTunes, Confederacy of Dunks. Listen to all that stuff. Season 6 is our Kawhi Leonard season. It is an emotional day for Raptors fans. Kawhi Leonard has left the team, and he is going to the LA Clippers, and Danny Green is also leaving and going to the Lakers. So if you're a basketball fan, head on over there. We got a new episode coming out next week. We're going to be talking all about losing Kawhi. Where did the Raptors go? It's a sad time, but man, it's exciting. We're champions. Whoever thought this was going to happen, right? Whoever thought this? It's just crazy. I feel like I'm waiting for it to hit me in a different way still. I feel like I haven't fully felt it yet. Very exciting time if you want to be a Raptors fan, especially now because there's a dynamite stick shoved up the team's ass. So we'll see what happens once that fuse goes off. What other updates do I got? Because, like we've been following through the year. If you're an avid listener, which I know you are, that the house, that the Charlie Bucket studio was on the market. It then sold, and then we were kind of in this area of we didn't know what was going to happen. I think in the last one we knew that the last episode that we were being evicted, and it has officially happened. We have been evicted from this place. I've never been evicted from any place in my life. I've never even had a parent that told me like I had to move out by the time I was 18. I could still be living there now at 34 years old. Some people have parents like that. I never had that. So this is the first time I've actually been kicked out of a home before against my will. And it's a bit of a strange feeling for us. It's emotional. It's frustrating, infuriating, and it's disappointing. It's just it's sad what the world's coming to. The housing market is in a crisis. And why am I talking about this? How can I relate this to the health theme of the podcast? Well, let me tell you, it puts you into a depression. You drink more, you smoke more weed, you eat more food. You're trying to come to grasp with it, really. You're trying to grasp it. So it's been a challenging few months, but now we're starting to see the light. It's almost over. This, in a month's time, we're going to be out of here. We're going to be moving back home for a bit. That's how you start a marriage, folks. Okay, if you're smart like us, but it's going to be fine, and everything's going to be good. And there's a lot of new chapters happening right now. There's a lot of crisp spines to the books that have been in place. We've got new leather on the front of the covers, and it's an exciting time. I'm really not too worried about it. I am pretty excited. Don't you worry. The Charlie Bucket studio will continue. It might be in the GTA, but who gives a shit? You don't care, right? Don't worry. The bed will be here. I just got a new mixer. This podcast is the first tester of me using it. It is a beautiful, beautiful mixer for podcasting. I'm so happy about it. But moving on, how much do you like cheesecake? I just saw in the news today that a man from Milwaukee, I like cheesecake a lot. We bought cheesecake from Costco in a box. There's about like 7 different flavors or something like that. Did not like the banana cheesecake flavor. I would say pretty disgusting, but anything else I could pretty much eat cheesecake, no problem. Factory sealed or fresh, don't really care. But this dude in Milwaukee, his 5-year-old son, I guess took a bite of it or something on Father's Day, and the guy punched him in the head and killed him. Now that is some fucking sad shit for a piece of cheesecake. You can be thinking about that cheesecake. You ain't getting that cheesecake in fucking jail. You're done. You're done for the fucking cheesecake. Was it really worth it? You got to control yourself sometimes. You got to work out. You got to you got to get your rage out somewhere. If a little kid is having a nibble of your fucking cheesecake, your first thought shouldn't be, I have to kill him now. So, I don't know I don't know. Is there a death penalty in Wisconsin? I don't know if you're listening, sir, but do not choose the drip. It's fucking terrible. I don't recommend it. That's all I would like to say about that. I wanted to make sure that I re-recorded episode 43 again after I got back into exercising because, after the hockey season ended, we I just kind of fell off again. So, I've been walking and doing things like that. I'm back at the standing desk at work. I don't give a shit about like the one article I read that really fucked with my head about standing is worse. I don't think it's worse at all. I think that it has some negative aspects to it, but overall, I can feel like my posture's better. My back doesn't hurt. I'm burning some calories standing. Get off my fucking junk about it, okay? So I got back on the bike today anyways, and I did my little workout, my little 7-minute app workout. Let me tell you, if you don't work out very much and you do one of these 7-minute workouts, I've talked about it in the past, saying a high-intensity workout, if you just do it for 7 or 10 minutes, it can be just the same as monkeying around in the gym, curling them buys, dude. And to a point, once you start to get more in shape, obviously you gotta up it. But I'm going slow into it. I know I'm gonna feel a little bit sore tomorrow. I don't want to go on the scale because I really am feeling like a parade float lately. I do feel like I'm constantly having to hold on to walls and doors so that I don't float away. I've kind of felt bloated a little bit. So I am working on that right now because I am getting married in a couple months, and I don't want to have to be tied down when I'm doing my vows. You know what I mean? Moving on, folks. Okay, I'm going to try and keep it as tight as I fucking can today, all right? This is something I've wanted to talk about a few times. I keep forgetting. It keeps... because, I've talked a lot about different diets and stuff. I want to talk about Jack Dorsey, who is the CEO of Twitter, I believe, one of the CEOs. And this motherfucker is like the poster boy for biohacking diets. Now, essentially what that means is he just starves himself most of the week. He fasts all weekend. He doesn't eat anything until Sunday night. And then he just eats dinner during the week. And, there's all it's very popular in Silicon Valley. All the tech people are on Adderall and they don't eat and they feel like $1 million and they just code all fucking day and night. So, there's a lot of conflicting studies about biohacking and fasting. And, I did the 5-2 diet for 1 week and I felt like I was in a Turkish jail cell for 2 months after that one 500 calorie day. And this guy's probably even going less than that. So I don't know how people do it. I don't know how you're supposed to have energy and your brain is supposed to work properly when you're doing this shit. I kind of can feel like the 5-2 diet could work because it's really spread out. It's only 2 of the 7 days, and then the other days is completely normal. Does that make sense? But the biohacking stuff that they're doing there, they're just slowly turning into robots, it seems like, aren't they? Like eventually they'll come up with something where, they won't have to eat anymore at all. They'll just have like tubes going in and, they'll be like, it'll just, they'll have some buttons that they press to get a little taste of this and, you'll be able to push a button for like a little mint sensation to make your tummy feel nice and cool. I'd definitely choose that one. I love fucking mint. I'd be pressing that fucking button all day. But, yeah, man, this is, it's crazy. Like, I want to get back on the horse with the podcast. I have been very busy, as I said, with the Dunks pod. But, it's been a weird time. It's a super weird time where there's just so much change. Like in every way, there's just like you can see everything's changing. The tides are changing. The land, the sand, everything. Like the neighbor next door might be dead. Like your favorite health food store down the street has moved. It's just little things like that too. It's just like wow, stuff's really going on here. So. I'm gonna be plugging away though this summer, and I'm gonna fucking work at it. I'm gonna find you some goddamn health articles and shit that we can fucking make fun of and investigate and maybe participate in. I'm always up for anything. Like maybe this will turn into a podcast one day where I'm just like it's like that fucking guy who eats garbage on the Food Network. But I'll, do that with diets and stuff. Just keep trying different diets. And, as the tongue patch one would be really cool to sew a fucking piece of, like a piece of felt or something under your tongue that just makes chewing impossible so you don't eat as much. But you can't leave the patch on too long, as I've talked many months ago about the tongue patch diet, because it will grow into your tongue, apparently, and then you just got this thing in there embedded. Ugh, God, what are people thinking? There's got to be easier ways to lose weight. Is this what it's coming down to? Is that what I'm going to have to do? Am I going to have to have a fucking tongue patch on at my wedding? I'm going to look great, but won't be able to do any fucking speeches. Jesus, tongue patch fucking diet. I don't know what's next. Maybe I will try the fucking Subway diet. Are they still doing that? I should ask. I just was at Subway the other day, and I had a fucking meatball sub, foot long. Cause come on, I can't just have a 6-inch sub. I'm trying to lose weight here. You want to get as many calories as possible. Isn't that how it works? Or is it the opposite? I can't fucking remember. It's been a long fucking time since I was a personal trainer, and you know that because friends, they stopped asking me to help them with stuff because they know, like, Jesus Christ, like, you can't even take care of yourself. Like, I can't take any advice from you. That's cool though. Whatever. Guys, you know what? I kind of have that feeling that could be the end of the fucking episode here. We're going to keep it tight around 20 minutes, 22. Guys, thanks for listening, okay? I'm back. I'm back from the trip in South Carolina. I've had a great fucking time. But, the show goes on. See you next week.